So Izuku had no idea that All Might relied on support items in the past to be able to use 20 to 30%, and he even decided to dub this Rare Might, which was absolutely freaking hilarious. And this is coming from, All Might's second greatest fan. Well, actually, number one fan, because, by default, the number one fan died. So before I begin, I just want to get into the All Might and the Izuku stuff before I get into the Jiro and the Gentle stuff and all that. I want to just talk about the All Might and, the Izuku training session. So we have Izuku waking up before 6:30 to be able to train with All Might, which is pretty interesting because it just shows how tight Izuku's schedule is right now. I mean, he's constantly having to prep for, the dance and all of that for the Culture Festival, and when you see how he's having to wake up that early just to be able to train with All Might, it just shows sheer dedication. And this man right now, he's trying to learn any way possible how he could potentially, maximize his usage of One for All. But there is a quick part I do want to talk about, though, about this entire segment that really stood out to me. And that was the moment when All Might grabbed May's baby. When you saw it come flying in and All Might grabbed it like nothing, that's when I was like, whoa. Now, I know many are going to look at this panel and be thinking, like, Chibi, it doesn't really matter. Just All Might grabbed, one of her, gadgets, and that's basically it. But here's the thing, okay, I want to point out. All Might, it shows that All Might, even though he has lost One for All, and he no longer has that ability, he just has Embers, he's still not necessarily weak. I mean, he might not be able to fight with people like Stain, All for One, any normal hero that has a quirk, he won't be able to fight with them. I mean, he might be able to do some certain tactics and stuff and put up a good, decent fight, but overall, in terms of raw power and stuff, there's just no way that he most likely could actually win. But even then, though, there is something that All Might has constantly reinforced time and time again, and once again, even in this chapter, that when he gained, his quirk, One for All, he was automatically able to use 100%. He was automatically able to go all the way and use his, abilities and stuff, and it came to him like a natural, occurrence. And that right there just shows that All Might's body was always very strange, in a very strange way. I mean, we don't really know much, but All Might, he's always had this talent to be able to use One for All. And as we know from Izuku, he's constantly struggled since the very series began to be able to even use 5%, 2% of his power. He's been struggling for a very long time to be able to use One for All. But All Might, he got the quirk and he was able to use it like it was nothing, which just shows that All Might's body, he is definitely physically fit and incredibly strong from normal human standards. And so, him having those reflexes and grabbing that gadget from May like it was nothing, it does show that All Might hasn't technically lost his edge. It just shows that he doesn't have the extra, strength from One for All. Because for him to be able to grab the gadget like nothing and just quick reaction, which was coming from behind him, it just shows that he is still very aware of his surroundings. He does pay attention, which shows that he still, keeps aware of what is happening. For instance, if villains try to do anything. So I do like that. I like that little tidbit. I know many might not care about it, but it does show that All Might is definitely still very strong for normal human standards. And you would think for a man that, is technically dying, his organs are messed up and all of that because of what happened in the past from a wound, you would assume that this man wouldn't be able to do something like that, but he still is. So, it's crazy to think about. All Might says something that is clearly a flag for Aoyama. He says, I've seen so many heroes in the past that rely on support equipment to be able to get the job done. And when they lose the support equipment, they no longer could do their hero work. And I felt like that was a complete nod at what Aoyama is currently doing. As we know, Aoyama, he relies on the equipment to keep his quirk in check. If he doesn't properly have this equipment, he obviously cannot properly use his quirk. And many have theorized that the reason why he uses this equipment is because it could be like Cyclops. For instance, if he doesn't have the gadget on, most likely a laser might continuously go off, or maybe it's just too powerful, something like that. And so that may be the reason why he needs equipment. And that's what All Might was trying to say. If you rely on equipment too much, then you might not be able to be a proper hero, because once that equipment's broken, there's nothing you can do. You're just, with your hands tied behind your back. I felt like that's what that was going for. It was trying to nod at Aoyama and probably a situation he's going to get into in the future of this arc. Mei pops up in this chapter, and it does once again show that Mei's in her own little separate world. She doesn't really give a crap about anything else besides her gadgets or people that wants to use her equipment, and that's basically what it really comes down to. And so when you see the gadget pop up, All Might grabs it and stuff, and she starts talking, she doesn't even really care about the entire situation, what Izuku is doing, because as we know, All Might Izuku, that's still like a top secret thing, with all the one for all, the quirk and all that. That's a big secret. You shouldn't tell anyone. And Mei just popping up like that could turn out to be very bad. And so, seeing how Mei just didn't give a crap at all, she didn't care about what Izuku was doing, what All Might was doing, she was just there trying to worry about her gadgets. Eventually, she looked over to Izuku, and she's like, oh yeah, I wrote down and I was actually working on the thing you wanted me to work on when it came to the gadgets for, your new technique, which is really cool. I like that little segment of the chapter, because it actually shows, once again, the type of character Mei is. Mei states that, right now, since she's technically not as busy, and she already had the materials and stuff, she might as well went about her way and worked on the project that Izuku asked her to do. And so it just shows how much passion that Mei has for, working on things, gadgets and stuff, which we all are very clearly aware that she's always been passionate about. But for her to even do that while she's not, even needing to do anything at the time, it just shows that she clearly loves to work on these certain little gadgets and stuff, her babies. And when she was doing that, it also referenced kind of how people are. I mean, if you have the materials, you have certain things you could do, then go out of your way and just do it and all that, which just shows the passion you have for something, which is what I think Gentle is doing as well. It's clarified with this chapter that the reason why Izuku was fired from the dance team wasn't because he lacked skill, even though he was kind of doing poorly. It wasn't because he lacked skill. The reason why was because they needed him on the staging team, which I did talk about this in my last chapter review. I said that most likely could be the case because you had the staging team asking that they needed someone from the dancing team. So seeing Izuku having to join the staging team, that makes a load of sense to me. I understand that. And so Izuku has to join the staging team because they need his help to be able to move Aoyama around while he becomes a disco ball. So that is definitely going to happen. Aoyama is going to be a disco ball, which I'm very curious on how this is going to turn out, because as we know, Aoyama, he has a problem with his bowels. If he uses his quirk too much, he's going to, crap himself. So I'm kind of curious on how he's going to be able to be a disco ball for long periods of time while spinning and being a disco ball. That's probably going to be hazardous for his health, because think about it. If he's going to be a disco ball, he's going to have to be rotating super fast. And if he's going to get a tummy ache and sick, that means he might want to throw up, he's going to crap himself, and that just seems like a big problem waiting to happen. So I'm kind of curious on how Izuku and Aoyama are going to work around that, and I wonder if Aoyama is actually going to try to stick through it and try to continue doing it even though he's probably going to crap himself. We'll see, but I just want to point out that, Izuku, even if he's going to be helping him out, moving him around, I just feel like Aoyama, him spinning is just going to make him much worse. So it's up to Horikoshi where he wants to take that. Maybe Aoyama can develop to a point where he doesn't even need to rely on his gadget. Maybe he'll be able to use his quirk without assistance. That would be very cool. That would be some good development for his character. Or there's a little tidbit that could potentially happen. Maybe Aoyama and Izuku have to fight off Gentle and La Brava. Now that I would like to see. Many have been saying that maybe Gentle could be, Aoyama's villain, like his rival to fight, his nemesis, which I would truly appreciate that if Aoyama was going up against Gentle, because the way they act, they're very similar in a way, they're very passionate, so I think they would be perfect for each other in terms of combat-wise, so who knows. Jiro was teaching Kaminari. She was teaching him how to play the instruments, and that just shows that they had a little bit of alone time together, they were spending time together and learning, which once again reinforces that ship with Jiro and Kaminari. And now, once again to clarify, I don't care if it doesn't happen, that ship doesn't happen. I'm just saying that I know a lot of shippers are going to be happy with that segment of the chapter, especially knowing that Jiro and Kaminari were, learning together, Kaminari was learning from Jiro. I know people are going to be happy. So, Momo, she mentions that she has some special tea she brought for all of the class, and her mother is the one that got it. At first glance, this tea doesn't seem relatively that important. As we know, Momo, she's a rich girl and all that. She has a rich family, so obviously she would have, a good connections with some good tea and stuff. And so, that part of the chapter doesn't seem that important. But then, as we continue on with the chapter, we get to see Gentle go out of his way and get the exact same tea that Momo had. He also states when he's giving details of the place he's going to, that only 5 or so customers really appear here. It looks like the place that's actually selling this tea is not really that well known. Not many people really go there, but it's managed to stay afloat thanks to just 5 regulars, which would mean that these 5 regulars might have a lot of money. And so I'm going to assume that there's a connection with this place that Gentle went to and where Momo's mother got the tea. Now, either A, the owner of that building is Momo's family, that's a potential possibility, or Momo's family, her mother, she just loves that place so much, she constantly goes there and she, spends a lot of money just buying tea. That's also a thing that could be happening there. But whatever it may be, though, Gentle drunk the same tea that Momo offered to the entire class in this chapter. So there's a correlation there with Momo's family and Gentle going to that place. So, as we know, Gentle has been doing, YouTube work for about 5 to 6 years. I think that's the amount of time he's been doing it. It's quite a long time, honestly. It's around the same amount of time I've been doing, YouTube. And the man has constantly been uploading videos, and it's very inspiring when you kind of see the details on what drove him to be like he is to this day, and like how he is as an uploader. So he, as a person that's kind of like on the old side, he's someone that went out of his way to learn technology and be able to upload videos, create his own videos. And this entire little segment of the story, it reminds me a lot of how people look at technology nowadays. The older folk look at technology. Like, I know if my dad wasn't acquainted with games and stuff, he might not really understand certain computers. I know my dad doesn't understand computers as much as he used to, and so I could definitely see how this could be relatable for the older folk. Because, I mean, when he's like, I had to go out of my way to learn how to use a computer to be able to upload videos, I'm like, whoa, that's just crazy. And then he eventually, as he was, putting all this time and effort into learning how to create videos, uploading and stuff, he only was managing to get, like, 50 or so views after a very long period of time. And I can understand that struggle. I definitely can. I mean, I remember when I started doing YouTube, I remember when I was uploading content, I'm not gonna joke, when I first started, I barely even got a view or two when I was uploading videos. I'm seriously not joking. It's just like, that stuff happens. When you're a YouTuber, you're new, you don't have a following or anything like that, you barely get any viewership, and so he was starting off, and he's like, it's this long, I barely got any views, but the man, he kept at it, which is, in a way, very inspiring, because that's kind of how YouTubers are. Because, for me, where I'm at right now, it couldn't have been done without all of your guys' help. But also, what it really does come down to, besides just that, the help of the entirety of the community, which is a big part of it, it also comes down to persistence and never giving up. And it shows that Gentle, as a person, he never gave up. Even though it looked like he was not getting anywhere with, YouTube, his uploading videos career and all that, he never gave up. He kept uploading, and eventually he's here to where he's at right now. And he has had his viewership increase slowly, which we see. And I do relate with that. I really relate with that. And I feel like that not many might care about this segment of the chapter. Many might not, relate with it. But as a YouTuber that uploads video content, I mean, I'm even making a video right now, I can relate with Gentle in a lot of ways. And I'm just like, whoa, that's really nice from Horikoshi. I mean, I like this arc. Personally, I find this arc fascinating, and this could turn out to be one of my personal favorite arcs of the series. Now, I know many might disagree with me on that, but I might find it my personal favorite just for, personal reasons, because of just how relatable it is. Apparently, the man actually gets around, like, 700 or so dislikes, according to what Izuku is seeing, and that's relatively impressive, because apparently he had 0 likes, but 700 dislikes. That's, like I said, that's impressive. You want to know why that's impressive? Because that's almost impossible to get a video. Almost. I'm not saying it is, but it's almost impossible to get a video with 0 likes and 100% dislikes. That's just crazy. Because, I mean, even if majority of the populace hate a video, there's bound to be 1 or 2 people that are going to like a video. Even the creator himself, yes, even the creator of an uploader of a video, they can like their own video. So it does show that Gentle doesn't even go out of his way to like his own video. So he doesn't have that type of shame. So he's not liking his own video. But it also shows that LaBrava ain't liking his video. What's with that, LaBrava? I thought you loved him. I thought you're his #1 fan. Why aren't you liking Gentle's videos? But, okay, jokes aside, though, I mean, it's very impressive. I mean, being able to put up with that criticism, 700 dislikes, that's that's admirable. I gotta admit, I mean, for the man not to give up after all of that, that's some strong will. We also have him formulate a plan. So he formulates a plan of how to get to the tea shop, how to get the tea, like the golden tip tea and all that of this chapter. And at first I thought it was going to be about his plan to get into UA, but then we find out it's for, you know, the tea shop, and I'm like, did this man just go through an elaborate plan just to be able to get tea? Like, a big portion of the chapter was him focusing on how to get the tea, and, you know, avoid, you know, glances from heroes and stuff, and I'm like, this man is amazing. He's straight amazing to be able to go this far for his tea. I mean, that's also relatable. That's how I am when it comes to coffee. Like, I would go crazy for coffee, okay? I would go to the ends of the earth for a cup of coffee. I love my coffee. And so seeing him having to go that far to get tea, I'm like, I understand. Hashtag relatable. But after all of that, though, once he finally gets his tea and stuff, he's like, oh yeah, and also over the hill there, that's where UA is. And I'm like, are you serious, bro? Like, are you serious? I can go for this entire elaborate plan to get your tea, but then you're like, oh yeah, UA's right over there, over that hill. We just go up there, put some dirt on us. Let's go get our, you know, let's go break in. I'm like, are you serious? Like, are you serious right now? So that had me dying. Like, I was just sitting there laughing, like, how far he went just to get tea, but then he just puts a little plan just to be able to get into UA. Just, yeah, priorities. Definitely priorities there. Okay, so the last segment to really tackle before I end this video is the segment with La Brava and Gentle's connection. So that entire part of the chapter really hit me hard, because it reminds me a lot of just me. It does. Like, Gentle, as I already talked about, he was getting a lot of dislikes. He barely got viewership, but he did get comments here and there. And eventually, someone managed to find him. One of his fans. And one of his fans, which was La Brava, that the fan that found him, she is a hacker, super hacker, and she was able to find his location. I want to assume that has something to do with her quirk. I want to assume that La Brava's quirk has something to do with hacking. But, she was able to find Gentle, track him down, and at first, Gentle was freaking out. And that's what I would do. If I was found by a fan or something and someone came up to me, I'd probably start freaking out. I'd be very awkward. And so his reaction, I'm like, whoa. And she's like, I'm your fan and all that. I came to track you down. I wanted to help you. And I'm like, what? Like, she wants to help him. And as things move on, eventually he says, like, look, I'm trying to be serious right now, okay, with you, La Brava. You've helped me out a lot. You've helped me get to the position I'm at right now. You've helped me with likes and all that, move the viewership of these videos up. And I'm like, my God, like, can this not be any more relatable? Because just like, as I've always said, if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be able to do this type of stuff. So just like him acknowledging La Brava, her time and effort, what she's done for him, I'm just like, I like Gentle as a character. He's truly a phenomenal character. And eventually he's like, I really do love you. And you just see how she starts crying and tearing up and all that, because he's like, I couldn't have done this without you. I'm like, yo, can we not just ship these two? And I know many are going to say, whoa, wait a minute, Chibi. Like, La Brava's probably young. I highly doubt that, because if we go back, he started his video career about, 5 to 6 years ago. And so looking at how La Brava looked, I want to assume that she just looks young, but she's a lot older than she appears. I just feel like she's probably a dwarf. Probably like me. She's probably a small little dwarf. A little, a midget, basically. So that's probably what it is when it comes down to. Maybe that's what, La Brava is. And, once again, relatable. But I do think that, I want to ship those two characters. They're perfect for each other. But yeah, that's about it. So I want to end this video here. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I love you guys. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.